has to get a little bit more crafty, right? Because it's not going to be easy to just dangle things in front of your face. You're going to be like, I was sitting with God this morning. Hey, welcome back to another Beanspiration. Thank you so much for watching and helping me to be on purpose. So last time we talked about thoughts. We're in this thought series right now, and last time we talked about thoughts that challenge your belief system, your faith, and kind of get you off of your spiritual path. So today we are going to get into some thoughts that actually keep you off of your productivity goals, like keep you from achieving the things that you want to achieve in life, the goals that you actually set for yourself. And from a recovering procrastinator, I know I am all too familiar with these different goals, with these different thoughts and things that come up as distractions, right? They can start as a little seed thought, but then they turn into this huge distraction till you're all the way off your game. And I call these busy thoughts. They're busy little thoughts. They're clever. They're almost so subtle that you wouldn't even notice them. And there are a couple of different ways that they sort of show up in our life. So one way is a seemingly innocent thought that you want to go scrolling on social media because you want to see what everybody else is up to, right? Innocent, right? Or I need to go and I gotta clean the kitchen, or I have to do my laundry, or whatever. Even if you're away from your home, maybe you're like, I gotta go run this errand, when I really know I was supposed to be sitting in a Starbucks working on my project, right? When you're supposed to be writing that book or taking that course or working on your business, whatever it is, these seemingly innocent thoughts will come into play. So one example for me is I could be setting up a time to work on a project such as this, working on my channel, working on my content and researching and studying. And when I, set up a time to do it, I go sit down to write or study or whatever. And all of a sudden I have this burning desire to clean out a closet that I was supposed to have cleaned out months ago, right? So I've been putting it off, procrastinating that. Now when I go to sit and do something that's going to take me further, that's going to, further my goals, that's when the thing comes up and it's like, oh no, you really should clean this closet like right now. No, it's a seemingly innocent thought, but it's there to distract you. It's there to keep you off of your path. Subtle, right? Another subtle way that these thoughts or distractions come up is gossip, right? You could be really focused in your life and doing the things that you want to do, and all of a sudden there's like a huge either gossip or scandal or something in your either inner circle or things that are closer to you, and you spend so much time focusing on it and watching all the information on it, or speaking to everybody who knows something about it, like, girl, did you hear, or did you see, or did you know, that could be another distraction. Like, you're supposed to be minded your own business and doing your own thing, but you're over here focused on what's going on with other people. See, it's seemingly innocent, just comes out of nowhere. It's not directly attacking what you're doing, but it's taking your attention, your energy, your zen away from what you're supposed to be doing to focus on that other thing. Another way that these thoughts come up, and I'm telling you all these different ways because they come from different angles, and we need to sort of be aware of how these thoughts and distractions are coming to us, because you may not have realized that they were thoughts and distractions that were coming to you to keep you from doing what you're doing. And so that's how it gets you, right? So say if it's something that comes to take you off of your everyday routine. So I've had periods of my life where I am really on my routine. Like I get up, I pray, I read my word, I work out, I meditate, I do all the things, right? And then slowly but surely there'll be things to come and distract me. Like, let me tell you what happened to me a couple of weeks ago. I hope I didn't say this already, but anyways, I went to go move a box or 3. And when I did so, I did it in such a way that my body moved in a weird kind of angle and I pulled my back, right? So I basically sprained my back. And because I sprained my back, I was not able to do my workouts every day. I was not able to get on my routine. I was off, completely off. So the things that I was doing that I was really, really on it kind of had to take a back seat, right? So sometimes there are things that actually you do have to take a break and get off of your game for. But as soon as those things are gone, then you need to pick your routine and whatever it is back up in order to help you continue on your path, right? Whatever the things are that you do that help you go, that help you stay in the right frame of mind, the right zone, there are things that come to distract you from it too. So that wasn't a particular thought, but that was a distraction. And we all have thoughts too that come and keep us off of our regular routine. Like, oh, I should probably just stay in the bed a little bit longer. Like, why do I need to get up at 5 a.m. anyways, right? Like, there are definitely these things that come. So those, I gave you a couple of examples of how these thoughts should have come. And let's talk about what we should be doing, right, to equip ourselves so that we're aware of the thoughts and we're aware of what's happening, and now we could be ready to deal with them. Because we really need to equip ourselves with our tools, right, our armor, to be able to fight and stay on track. We gotta fight for what we want, right? It's not gonna come easy. There's always gonna be a thing that could take the place of the things that you're going after, the goals that you're going after. And especially when you're in a good spiritual place, like when you're, spending time with God, when you're listening to God's word, when you're like getting that download on a regular basis, there is going to be more things. And when you're at that high level of, let's say, connectivity to your source, to God, that's when the enemy, the opposition, has to get a little bit more crafty, right? Because it's not going to be easy to just dangle things in front of your face. You're going to be like, I was sitting with God this morning. I am ready. I am prepared. I am covered, right? So it has to be a little bit more crafty, a little bit more subtle, a little bit more creative. And so for us, we have to be on guard, because remember I told you we are fighting a battle and we don't even know. So we need to be training. We need to be on guard and equip ourselves with our word and be on the lookout. All right, so let's see what the Bible has to say about this, and then we'll talk about some actionable steps that you and I can take to stay on guard and to really take a look at these thoughts and these distractions to see what's really happening, right? The scripture that we're going to look at is Proverbs chapter 4, verses 25 through 27, and I'm going to read it, and it goes a little something like this. Keep vigilant watch over your heart. That's where life starts. Don't talk out of both sides of your mouth. Avoid careless banter, white lies, and gossip. Keep your eyes straight ahead. Ignore all sideshow distractions. Watch your step, and the road will stretch out smooth before you. Look neither to your left, nor to your right, and leave evil in the dust. Wow, that was a lot, right? So let me break this down for you. Let's talk about what the heart means. And I'm going to be looking at my notes because I really want to say this specifically. So the heart is our inner life, our minds, our thoughts, our motives, and our desires. We really want to have a pure thought life. And it's not easy. I am far, very far from perfect. It's not easy, but it's something that we kind of have to stay on top of and to evaluate what we're thinking. Remember, most of our thoughts are negative. So in order for us to really stay positive and like track towards our goals, it's like constant being on guard. You've ever seen like a security, like high level security, or like Secret Service, if you see them on TV or whatever, you see how they'll have their shades on so that they're not distracted by anything that's going on. They are not making eye contact. They're not kikiing. They're not laughing at you. They're not, they're really focused on their goals. And that's kind of how we have to be with, these thoughts and these distractions. Like, nope, I see what you're doing over there. It's not going to work this time. You know what I mean? You really got to be on guard. And that's what it means to, guard our hearts, right? Have our inner life, our mind, our thoughts, our motives, our desires. Make sure that those are pure and have a zero tolerance. So next, it talks about not getting caught up, right? Don't talk out of both sides of your mouth. Don't have careless banter. Don't do white lies. Don't do gossip. Why? Because those things get us caught up, and those are those fine little subtle things that have us wandering off the path of where we need to go, and we didn't even realize it. You get caught up, like I think I said that already, you get caught up in other people's gossip and what's going on. And that's distractive. Like you So what I want to say about gossip is, because sometimes I'm like, but God, this is not gossip. Like, I need to communicate this to somebody, right? Like in my head, that's what I'm saying. So sometimes you have to talk about things. You learn from experiences and circumstances, not only of yours, but of others. So yes, you can talk about things, but you should not be feeding on. You should not be having joy and luxuriating at other people's issues or situations and circumstances, right? You talk about it, you know, you get over it and you move on. But you should not, like, check your motive, check your heart to see, is there malice in this? Is there, you know, am I feeding off of this? Is this giving me some sort of joy, right? Like, your source of fulfillment should be God. I remember that once upon a time in my life, like, my only conversation was gossip or talking about other people, or other people's lives, or what they do, what these people do, what those people do, or what's going on with them. And it's just like, we can get into that, right? Sometimes it happens. We're not perfect, and I'm sure it'll happen to me again, right? But now that I'm aware, I'm not going to be sitting and luxuriating in gossip all the time, right? Now I can watch it and say, okay, that's enough. Move on and move back to what you're going in, because you don't want to get distracted on other people. You need to be focusing on your own path. Okay. I'm saying that to myself too. And then the next part he says is talking about keeping your eyes straight. So you wanting to stay single-minded, right? Stay focused on what you're doing, not getting distraction on things that are not important is key. I think about that as being decisive. So often, and I know for myself, I will be distracted by too many decisions to be made, or too many options and opportunities, right? This is a first world problem, right? There's too many options, too many opportunities, too many things that I could be, do, see, go, have, right? And I'm always changing my mind. And I had to check myself at one point and say, listen, girl, how is God going to bless you if he doesn't know where you're going or where you're at, or if you're going to change your mind 2 seconds later, right? So if you think of it like this, I had this vision that, like, God is trying to bless you, right? And he has like his army of angels, and they're all like preparing a way, right? They're making a way out of no way. They're closing doors, they're opening doors, they're fighting for you, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, you're going down this path and you're like, actually, I'm gonna go this way, right? It's like, what? Like, so now they have to switch gears, and, you know, each time that you switch and decided that you're going this way and that way, now they have to switch everything up. And before you know it, you're kind of in the same spot, because you have not allowed or walked out the things that you need to walk out enough, right, to actually progress. And I've seen circumstances where I've seen either colleagues or others kind of take baby steps, one step at a time, but stay focused and consistent on one thing, and have gotten super, super far. Whereas I feel like in my life that I have made a lot of pivots, and because I'm making a lot of pivots, I'm still, you know, I still feel like I'm at square one in certain things, right? And so that's a big lesson. Like, being decisive and being committed to that thing is important. And you know how you can be decisive? If you are making a decision from here, right? From here, and from what God is downloading to you on what he wants you to do, what he wants to see in your life, and what you want to do. Like, God is going to give you the desire before he gives you the assignment, right? So that you could walk in it. You just have to believe and have confidence in yourself that you could actually do it. And then now you're on your way. So if you are coming from what I really want to do, not what I see my friends doing, not what I see others doing, what I really want to do, and you walk that out and be consistent with that, now you're cooking with grease, right? Now God can really send his peeps to help you help yourself. So the last part talks about avoiding evil, right? Avoid what you know isn't good for you, your spirit, mind, your sight, emotions. We know what's not good for us, right? You know what's not good for you. I know what's not good for me. We know where we shouldn't go. That's not good for our productivity or our goals, etc. We know what we shouldn't listen to, what we shouldn't see, expose our eyes to, you know, what we shouldn't consume. We already know, you know, right? Avoid what is not good for you, what's not going to allow you to get to your goals. Don't lie to yourself. I try not to lie to myself. I'm working on it every day, but don't lie to yourself, because we're not, who are we kidding? Right? So we want to take the straight path, and that's like, you know, avoiding the things that are not good for us. So meaning, like, on the road of life, there are different alleys, there are different side streets, different places that you could go, but avoiding those things so that you can stay on the straight path to allow you to get to where you're going. All right. So let's talk about some action steps on what can we do when we are trying to get our lives together in this space, right? We want to keep watch, keep vigilant, and make sure that we are staying focused, right? Productivity is the way. So now the number one thing I want you to do is to ask yourself, what are my motives for the thing that I'm trying to get to? So the project, the thing that you're trying to stay focused on and go to, what are my motives? Is this really for me? Remember I told you just a second ago, make sure it's for you. Am I doing this for me, or is this what somebody else wants for me? Because then if that's the case, of course you're going to get distracted and you really don't even need to be going down that path in the first place, right? So that's number one. Number two, you're going to ask yourself, does this thing need my attention now? Like now, right now, while I'm about to sit down and do this project and write this book and work on my course and get my whole entire life together, whatever it is. If it doesn't need your attention now, then you don't need to do it right now, all right? Then it brings me to the second question that you're gonna ask yourself. Okay, well, if I don't need to do this right now, do I need to do this eventually? Does this thing need my attention eventually? Then if that's the case, you can calendar it. What I found with the process of getting married to my calendar is that it has really helped me like improve my consistency about 90%, right? Because before, I would have things that I needed to do and I'll say, okay, I'm going to get to it. But then there was never enough time. So finally, I saw somebody do like calendar blocking, and I started to do the calendar blocking. So whenever I said, or I knew I had to do something, I had an assignment or a deliverable, I would put it in the calendar, specific date and time, so that when that date and time came and I'm looking at what I got to do, I'm like, okay, this is next. Now, the struggle is you have to get yourself to the point where when the time comes, you do the thing. And sometimes it's hard when the time comes to do the thing because you don't feel like doing the thing. I don't either. But you know you have to get it done because it's part of your goal. It's part of your path. It's going to get you to where you want to go. So you might find some resistance there, but if you keep on keeping on, eventually you will become married to your calendar where you're like, what time is it? What I got to do? Okay, boom, let's get this done. Check. What time is it? What I got to do? Okay, boom, let's get this done. Check. And you can also prepare yourself ahead of time. Like look at your calendar for tomorrow. Say, okay, child, this is what I gotta do. Breathe. God, strengthen me. Holy Spirit, give me the strength to go and get this done tomorrow. And that's what I do. I ask God, listen, you see my calendar for tomorrow? Can you go ahead in my calendar, all up in it the whole day, and make my way straight and get out all of the things that are going to come against me? Please go and do that. So when you are definite about it, now God and his angels, his peeps, they're like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing. I got you. Right? We can do this. I promise you. All right. So that was the second thing, right? Third thing, you're going to calendar it. And the fourth thing is you're going to ask yourself, if it doesn't need to be done, need my attention now. If it doesn't need to be done at some point, then the third question is, does this need to be done at all, ever? And if it's something that doesn't need to be done at all ever and doesn't need your attention at all ever, like maybe scrolling for hours endlessly, or the excessive gossiping or whatever it is, or minding other people's business, looking at other people's green grass, right? If none of that stuff needs to happen, then you need to cancel it, right? Cancel it, can it, whatever it needs to be done, get rid of it so that you can get focused on your goal. And remember, this is going to be a work in progress. It's never all handled. It's never all done. Thanks to my coach that got me to realize that it's never all done. But you can do this. We can do this, right? We are empowered. We have God. We have the word. Make sure you stay prayed up. Make sure you do things to build your spirit, man. Whatever it is, if it's worship music, if it's gospel, if it's, which is the same thing, if it's just, spending some quiet time, whatever it is that you can do to feed your soul and make yourself strong so that you can endure. God's got you. And I pray this was helpful for you. And I'm going to see you next time. Let me know in the comments if you have identified something that has been coming to distract you and keep you off your goal, and if it has won, and if you have now overcome it, let me know how that worked out. I can't wait to talk to you guys next time. Peace.